What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down DIONTAE Johnson and his route running ability. I think he's one of the best rookie route runners that they had last year. So today we're going to be talking about how to run an out and up, how to run an out versus press, how to run after the catch, and then how to work hand technique against a press DB, okay? And guys, if you ever find yourself in a situation where you come up to the line of scrimmage and you're not sure of yourself, not sure of what release to use, not sure when to use the releases that we work, check out that link in the description that says all wide receiver press releases. It's a video where I break down every single press release you can use and the situations to use it in game film examples. Hope to get you guys on that soon. Let's get started. So the main thing, he's going to be here. He's lined up. We're going to be running this out and up here. So the main thing we're going to talk about is the mechanics of this out, how he sells this out, how he remains full speed on this out, and how sudden feet is the key to getting separation on any double move. So let's watch this thing full speed. So he's going to be here, breaking off that third inside, 3 hard steps to the outside, gets that DB to commit a little bit. And right now you might think, okay, DB didn't necessarily play this thing horrible, but in the red zone, when you got a quick guy like this and the quarterback puts it on a good spot, this is all the separation we need, right? And what's going to get this DB to bite even just a little bit, to hesitate just a little bit, that's what we're going to mainly focus on this route. So when he comes off here, I want you to see his stem. There's 2 parts of this that you got to sell. You got to sell that this is an out route, and how you sell that it's an out route is by selling vertical, number 1. Okay, we always want to be pushing vertical. I want to be full speed into this cut. That's something that not a lot of people stress on a double move. They take that first part of the stem nice and easy. They slow down, then they break to the out, right? I want to make everything about this look out, and I'm getting this ball right off the break. The quarterback's just going to hit that third step and let this ball go. So when he comes out here, he's coming off this third inside break, and you see how he's very sudden with his feet, right? We want to be as sudden as possible. This DB's already turned his hips. He's already biting on this thing. So now when he shoots back around, what happens? He fully commits those hips. That's something that a lot of people struggle with on this that might not be as clean with their cuts, right? They don't fully commit their hips. They don't fully commit to the sideline, and that allows them to round this break off. They'll drift with this upfield shoulder, and then they'll drift right to this DB, right? But because he's here and he fully commits those shoulders and his eyes are turned just slightly, commits his head, that's what's going to get him some separation. Now, when he runs this out route, I want you to see how his steps aren't choppy, because what a lot of people do is they'll break off of this leg here, they'll hit that stick, they'll hit this cut, and then they'll go 1, 2, 3, and it's real choppy steps, right? That's not going to bite any DB. You see how he kind of is a speed out, right? So he's almost kind of rounding off this cut, and we want to hit this thing full 3 strides, 1, 2, 3, and you see how sudden his foot is. The only way I change direction while going full speed, not slowing down while my hips are committed, is by being sudden with your feet. So if you struggle with being sudden with your feet, you kind of slow down into your cuts. Really focus on committing your hips to the route and then being able to change direction on a dime. Don't slow down. Focus on committing your hips and cut right on a dime. That's going to help your feet become a lot more sudden. But when you're here and you kind of, let's say he comes up and on this second step here, this step, he starts to slow down. He starts to open up his hips. Then that third step won't be as explosive. We want to commit my hips on everything that I do. I pop my foot in the ground and then I burst back upfield. And you see that gets that DB just to hesitate a little bit. And then I'm able to explode upfield, really work to get some separation. And this is, you're open right here, especially in a quarterback's eyes. He's thinking, damn, he's open. He's got some space. He did a good job running this route. Let me just put this ball out somewhere where he could get it. Great job going down and making this catch. Tough throw to deal with right there, but that's a great job by DIONTAE Johnson getting enough separation on this route, right? And again, if we're in the open field, we can use my speed. I could really keep my head down. This is a good job knowing his situation, right? Because a lot of times you hear me talk about, okay, when you work a double move, let's keep my head down and burst until I get some separation from this DB. But when you're in the red zone like this, 25 going in, wherever it's at, we got to make sure that I'm ready for this ball right now, because the quarterback's got to get it out. You got to know your situation. Let's watch it one more time here. It's coming off break. 1, 2, 3. Full stride, does not lose speed. Great route here by DIONTAE Johnson. Okay, so now we're going to be talking about this out route against press, right? So we got about a couple yards to work with, right? Maybe like 2 yards to work with. So I really want to make sure that I close the gap with this DB and I get some separation. So let's watch this thing one more time. So he closes the gap, attacks his midline, gives him a 1-2, works to restack. Ball's a little late. Ball could have been early, but great job being late with his hands. But also here, you see where he's lined up on the field, right? So we got to make sure that I'm expecting this ball right off the break, right? Because this is a close situation. He's probably to the sideline here where my split isn't far inside. That's what I'm trying to say. My split is kicked out wide, so I got to know that this ball's going to be out quick by this quarterback. I might not have a lot of room to work and create some separation and really run, so make sure we're expecting that ball early. Again, kind of like the last clip, we want to know my situation. And my bad, this is a clip from him in college. So I wanted to include this because I think this release is real important for you guys to understand. So you guys might know this, but it's a good review. when he's off like this and he's in this catch technique, where do I want to attack? I want to attack that midline. I want to attack the middle of his body, right? Because here's the deal. He's like kind of head up right now. He's not inside leverage, not inside shade. We don't need to like kind of take my stem to the inside, if you will, like do a squirt release. We could just attack him straight up. So what he does is he does end up working him to the inside here and kind of attacks that inside shoulder, right? So now when we know, here's the thing, you got to have kind of a high IQ to understand this, or a high football IQ, I should say. And not really. I mean, this is something that a lot of people can understand. I shouldn't really put it that way. But you attack this outside shoulder here because you know that he's head up and he's going to be shuffling with you, right? So we know, like, if he was inside leverage, I'd want to do the exact same thing. I'd want to attack this midline here and still angle my stem, because then he could either drift and keep his leverage, and that gives me space out here. But when you're running an out route, you want to try to give yourself as much space as possible. So you want to kind of attack this outside shoulder midline, right? His outside hip or his outside shoulder, however you want to think of it, because when you angle your stem here and you're closing the gap, he's going to shuffle with you. But what's that doing? That's just creating space for you to work back to this sideline. This is a great job here. So he gives him this little skip, 1, 2, 3, 4, and he gives him this little quick 1, 2. So skip, left, right, and you see he really throws his upper half, right? And his legs are staying in an explosive position. He's pushing off of this right. Anytime we go double move, you got to push off the outside. And where's he doing? If you want to take an outside release, you want to step with your outside leg first. So he's really pushing off of this leg, throwing his body, throwing his hip into this cut, keeping an explosive position, his toes forward, weight on the inside arch, so he could push and drive out, right? And now you got to know, what hand do I have to beat? This DB, head up, I want to take an outside release. I know I got to beat this hand. So he works him to the left here, right? It's not super complicated. A lot of people think that press is this really complicated issue. It's not. We just close the gap, try to get him on his heels, try to get him off that platform, give him a 1, 2, and know that I could get him off balance if I sell this thing correctly with my upper half, and that if I want to take an outside release, all I got to do is beat this outside arm. And you see, if you get to beat that outside arm, like imagine if he would really swat here and get those hands off of him, his hips would completely lock and we'd be able to get more separation than what we already have. Now, when we're in this position, I got to really work to restack on top of this DB. I can't just cruise up into this route. I can't just jog into this route. So I can't just run to the outside and then try to break, because he's got to play and he's running full speed. He's got his head down. So I got to work to restack. And then when I give this move to the outside, I got to throw my head and my shoulders to sell. Like I'm just breaking right now, going post, right? But he's very sudden with his foot. Again, when you run full speed and you fully commit your hips, your feet have to be sudden to change direction. You see he snaps that head around fast because he knows where he's at on the field and makes this great catch, especially when you're in traffic. You see how late his hands are. He's not showing those hands too early to let this DB make a play. DB, honestly, not bad recovery here. I'm not trying to knock him, but I think that's just a great job. When you're playing a good DB, everything matters, right? DB's in a good spot to make this play, but you got to finish it with the catch. We got to really understand what restacking does on this route. We got to understand how to get up fast on this release and what the whole point of a release is. Let's watch this thing full speed one more time. So there's a great release you guys can do when he's head up. You want to work him off his platform to the inside. You know, because he's head up, he's not inside leverage here. He's most likely going to shuffle with you. He's in man coverage. His eyes are on you. Give him a 1, 2 to the inside. Really get those hands off. Try to get those hips to lock. So he comes here, 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3, 4, breaks off this inside leg, bursts outside. It's a great route here. So now, this is going to be like a setup of a diamond release. So he's here, and this DB's kind of outside shade, right? He's probably trying to take away the outside, but when we want to take an outside release here, and he's got safety help over the top, mind you that, but he's really this DB's trying to force him to the inside. You could tell by his alignment. He does not want to give up the outside, right? Now, what DIONTAE Johnson does here is, we'll watch it full speed. He goes 1, 2, 3, 4, gets those hands off, and then he works. So this is another thing, and you see that safety coming over the top, right? So he's coming here, and that's another part of just, you got to be able to know coverages as a receiver, right? I know I don't talk a lot about coverages here because that's mainly the content that I put on my website. And if you have any questions about that, just please feel free to ask in the comments. If you want me to send you the link to those clips or the information on those clips, let me know. But this is something that you guys got to understand, that if he's trying to take away this outside, he really doesn't want to force me to the outside. He's trying to force me to the inside. We know he's got safety help, and we could probably tell pre-snap that we got safety help. I know we can't see that right now because of the angle of the clip, clip, but he's trying to force me to the inside. He doesn't want me to go to the outside. So what he decides to do is take 3 hard steps to the outside, then gives him a 4th cut to the inside. So it's just a diamond release, 3 hard steps, 1, 2, 3, 4. And he gives this jab to the inside to get this DB to kind of hesitate. And now we know that if I want to take an outside release and I get him hesitating with his feet, what arm do I got to beat? I just got to beat this off arm because I'm attacking his outside, right? And he's trying to wall me back inside. So if I give him something to the inside here that gets his feet to hesitate, gets his feet to stop, and I could swat and attack this point of control with my outside hand, and you see this offhand, he doesn't swing it way over the top. He's just real quick and shoots it over. He shoots this thing over, and you see this DB isn't able to get hands, and now he's trailing him, and we got some separation. We took an outside release with this safety coming over the top here. That's a very tough play for this safety to make, and if the quarterback puts that thing in a good spot like he does, that's a great job here by DIONTAE Johnson. Let's watch it full speed one more time. Let's come out 1, 2, 3, 4. Get those hands off. No, I got to beat that outside arm. Great job here. It's a great job getting separation. Okay, so now we're going to talk about how to run after the catch. So this is pretty simple. I just want to talk about one cut that he makes and how you guys can change direction more effectively. So he's going to be getting this ball here on this quick slant, bursting upfield. Then he just puts the brakes on right now, gets that DB to miss, and then he bursts upfield and makes this play. So main thing about it is anytime we're cutting guys and you see how fast he's running right here, he's not slowing down, right? A lot of people, when they have the ball and they're running after the catch, they want to slow down. They want to make all these cuts. They think that them slowing down is what's going to get them separation, but it's not going to get them separation. What gets you separation is being able to put the brakes on a dime, right? And how we do that is with your hips and with your feet. Your feet got to be powerful and your hips got to be violent. So you see when he makes this cut here, this guy's coming top shoulder, he goes 1, 2. And you see what he does with these hips, and you see how powerful his feet are. He's not soft, and he's not shattering his feet doing 8 steps here. He's just doing 2. Just drop, drop, and he's out of there. Makes this DB overcommit, and then he gets right back to being full speed. So anytime I make a cut with an outside leg, like you see like Jerry Jeudy do it all the time, how explosive he is with that cut. Anytime I got to put the brakes on, I got to drop my hips violently, got to be powerful with my feet, and then I got to get out of there. Let's watch this thing full speed one more time. I hope that gave you guys some insight on how to run when you have the ball in your hands. Okay, so run in full speed, put the brakes on, violent hips, violent feet, explosive feet, or powerful feet, I should say, then burst upfield and make this play. All right, guys, I really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Again, if you find yourself in a situation where you're not sure of what releases to use or when to use the certain releases that you know, check out that link in the description that says all wide receiver press releases. And also, if you have any questions, please leave those in the comments. I'll see you guys next time.